Wouldn't it be amazing to know the one sentence that if you focused on every day just a little bit, it would greatly enhance your life? Well, my name is Rabbi Wyne, and I'm one of the rabbis at Inspiring Jews, and I'm going to share with you that sentence right now. It says in our Parsha, Parshas Ekev, it says, V'achalta v'savachta v'rachta, that you should eat, you should be satisfied, and you should bless the Lord your God. Now, we understand there are 70 facets to the Torah. Every time you read a line from this book, this Chumash, you can, there's many ways to view it, many ways to understand it. I'm not going to give you 70 interpretations or practical applications of that one verse. I'm just going to give you 5. And I will tell you that if you focus on this one sentence, just a little bit of time every day, your life enhancement will go from here to here. So what does it mean? You shall v'achalta v'savachta v'rachta. You shall eat, you shall be satisfied, and you shall bless. Now, on the simple level, you say, well, what's the big deal? It doesn't sound so difficult. But like most of the really important and profound concepts in the world, they're not difficult to understand. They're just difficult to do. What does it mean? There's a lot of people that don't eat in this world. They don't. I mean, and right now we're just talking about eating food. I mean, how many times have you met a person, you've experienced it, I know you've experienced it yourself, where it's been 12, 1 o'clock, you said, I haven't eaten anything all day, I'm a little nauseous, I'm a little tired. You know what? That's not good. You say, oh, I ate too much ice cream. I didn't eat enough ice cream. I didn't have enough coffee. I had too much coffee. We are supposed to eat in a way that makes us feel satisfied. Now, there's a lot of people that don't eat and therefore are not satisfied. There are people that eat, they eat what they need to eat, but they're just not satisfied because they're not the kind of people who are satisfied with anything. And we all know people like this. It's really a nutty situation where if they were to look at their lives, especially compared to others, they would say, yeah, you know what, I should be totally satisfied, but they're not satisfied. And then, yes, there are those people that eat properly. They eat enough of the good things, what they need to eat. And yes, they are satisfied. And then it ends. And it's not a spiritual experience at all. Oh, it's not a grateful experience. They just go about their life. Yeah, you know, how are things? Oh, things are okay. They're good. But if a person wants to get the absolute most out of their life, then God says in the Torah, you should eat, you should be satisfied, and then you should take that satisfaction and elevate it to a spiritual experience. That's just level 1. Level 2 is totally different, actually. It says that, you know, we know that this is the source. This particular verse is the source to say it's after meals. Some of you might know it as the Birkat Hamazon or the benching. You know, it's what you might have said perhaps in Jewish summer camp. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hazan haolam k'lo la-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So when we look at this, it's a commandment to eat, to be satisfied, and then to bless. Now, how much do you have to eat to actually be satisfied? Well, the rabbi said it's too ambiguous. So they actually gave a particular amount. They said a half a slice of bread. If a person were to eat a half a slice of bread, they would be obligated to bless God with this Birkat Hamazon. So there was a very famous rabbi in the Holocaust. He was, you know, and Rabbi Youngreis, and he was in Auschwitz, and he one of the things that he became very well known for was just as his extreme piety and closeness to God. And the stories told of him of how he would every day he would eat a half a slice of bread, just enough so that he would be obligated to say this blessing. And then he would take the rest of his bread and he would give it to his children or even other people. And we ask, wait a second, is anyone ever satisfied with half a slice of bread? And the answer is no, he's not. But what Rabbi Youngreis would do is he would turn to God when he would say this blessing, and he would say, you know, God, I'm blessing you even though I'm really not satisfied. So you know what? Even though you might not be satisfied with me, please continue to bless me. Really an amazing, beautiful idea if you think about it. How many of us can stand before the Almighty and say, God, I'm doing everything you want from me? No, we're probably not. But at the same time, we can say, I'm willing to bless you, God, even though my life is not perfect, even though I might not be satisfied. I'm going to bless you. And you know what? even though you might not be totally satisfied with me, please shower me with your blessings. Okay, the third concept I want to share with you is that we actually extend this blessing. You should eat, you should be satisfied, and you should bless. We extend this to before blessings. In other words, the idea, generally you say thank you. The rabbis came and said, if you're going to say thank you, say please as well. And there was a time during King David's reign where there was a terrible plague. There were 100 people a day that were dying in a plague. And so King David, through really Ruach HaKodesh, through divine inspiration, he read another verse in this week's Parsha, in this week's Torah reading, that says, my Israel, what Israel, what does God want from you? Only to fear him. And King David read that verse in the Torah and said, you know what? The word ma, which means what does God want from you Jews, is very similar to the word mea, which is 100. And King David said, wow, 100 people, exactly. Not 99, not 101, 100 people a day were dying in a particular plague. And King David said, if we bless God, if we show our appreciation to the Almighty, then the Almighty does not need to bring us difficulties or troubles. So therefore, he decreed that every Jew should say 100 blessings a day. And by the way, we still do that. That is brought down in Jewish law, that we say 100 blessings a day, 100 times every day. We thank God. We recognize that he's making our lives amazing and beautiful. And so the fact that we would bless God 100 times every single day, so then that's how, and from the concept of King David, so then that's how we really grow. That's how we push forward. And that is connected with this particular blessing. You should eat, satisfied, and bless the Almighty. And then, you think in this world, it's very, very important to eat. What do I mean eat? Now, I want to expand the idea from not just eat food, but to benefit from this world. And I really believe this is a deeper concept that, we go around the world and you say, yeah, how are things? Yeah, nothing new. Yeah, everything's okay. Kind of doing this, doing that, whatever. But really, we are obligated to benefit from every permissible pleasure there is in this world. It's an obligation. We have to eat from this world. God created a beautiful world. We've got to get into it, enjoy it in a real way. The famous story told of a rabbi, Shimshon Raphael Hirsch. He was one of the rabbis in Germany in the 1800s. And he was, at this point of his life, he was very old and sick. And he turned and to his attendants said, I want to take a train ride. I want to go see the Swiss Alps. And they said, Rebbe, you're pretty sick and you're pretty old. Like, you sure you want to go through such a difficult trip? He said, yes, I've got to see the Swiss Alps. They said, why? What's really the big deal? It's not like you're going skiing. I mean, seriously. He said, because after 120 years, when I go on to the next world, the Almighty is going to turn to me and say, Rav Shimshon, I made these beautiful Alps, the Swiss Alps for you, and you didn't bother to go see them. I tell you, that story changed my life from the first time I heard it. Because I recognize that the Almighty put me in this world in order to enjoy this world. And there's all these experiences that are all over the place. And that our job in this world is to experience these pleasures while bringing value and goodness to the entire, to everyone. It's such a great thing, So every year we go to the lake, and there's a book that I used to read every single year. I've probably read the book 20 times. It's called The Alchemist. So it's not a Jewish book. It's not a Jewish book, but it's kind of like a way just to kind of relax. It's actually very much a Jewish story. But there's a section in the book where the shepherd boy goes and he goes to a big mansion. And there's a very wise man there, and has the secret of happiness. So he turns to the boy and he says, "Listen, you know what I want you to do? I want you to take a spoon and put the oil in the spoon, and then I want you to go walk around the mansion for a couple of hours, and I'll meet you in 3 hours, and there's lots going on." So he's walking around, and he's he sees he says, the guy said, don't let any of the oil leave the spoon. So the boy walked around, he saw kept looking at the spoon, make sure none of the oil dropped out of the spoon. And after a couple of hours, comes back, and the rich man said, the wise man said, "So did you notice all the beautiful tapestries?" And the boy said, "No." He go, "Did you eat at the buffet? I 10 different kinds of meat, fish, wine, galore, No, I didn't. Did you see the you see my musicians? I had 8 different bands that were playing throughout this party. And the boy said, no, I didn't see any of that. So the, rich man said, fill another spoonful of oil, go walk around. But this time I want you to notice my mansion. Go take a look at everything, have the food, listen to the music. And the boy did. And when he comes back, of course, he spilled all the oil out of the spoon, right? So then the very wise, wealthy man said, you know what the secret of happiness in life is? It's to be able to go through the world, see the tapestries, enjoy the music, eat the food, but don't let the oil, don't let the preciousness spill out of your spoon. That's the story. It's the idea. It's relevant to every one of us. We all have that oil. We all have that thing that's really important in our lives. Some people, it's their family. Some people, it's they're accomplishing something in their career. Some people, they have a cause. It's really, they're helping to benefit the world. Yeah, go around the world. Make sure you're doing those important things, but make sure you're enjoying God's world as well. It's absolutely crucial. So that's it. And then we have to learn to be satisfied. This is the last point I want to share with you. What does it mean to learn to be satisfied? Years ago, I was in Los Angeles and I saw a brilliant billboard advertising something. So brilliant, I don't remember what it was advertising, but the line struck me. It said, if you are not completely satisfied, then call whatever the number was, right? And I looked at it, I said, who in this world is completely satisfied? I don't know anybody who's completely satisfied with their family, with their spouse, with their children, with their career, with their health. Who's completely satisfied? Nobody's completely satisfied. Well, if you're not completely satisfied, come to Inspiring Jews. No one's completely satisfied. Everyone's going to come. So what are we trying to be satisfied with? We have to learn to be satisfied enough. Learn to be satisfied enough that you can bless God in the fullest way. That's really that's really the key to it. That's the key to everything, right? Enjoy the world, learn to really be satisfied, and then you have to lift it to a spiritual experience. And now for the last point, which is actually quite controversial. You've eaten, you're satisfied. Now you have to bless God. Even though you've eaten and you're satisfied, you must, if you want to live a great life, you must turn it into a spiritual experience. So years ago, my wife and I are in Malibu and we're watching a sunset. And there's a guy out there. He's a real LA kind of guy, right? He's got the hair back and the tan, and he's older, and he's got the fancy car and standing there on the beach. And, he's like, this is the best. Los Angeles, so beautiful, so wonderful. We start chatting. He finds out, sees the kippah, speak, I'm a rabbi in Las Vegas. Okay. So he turns after a while, he says, Rabbi, tell me something. Can a non-believer live a very happy life? And by the way, I'm a non-believer. So I turned to him and I said, well, actually, I do think that a non-believer can live a happy life. And I'm a believer. But the difference between you and me is you are flying across the country in the back row of the plane, sitting next to the bathrooms, and I'm sitting in the front row in first class. He starts laughing. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, this is what's going on. You're standing on the beach and you're looking at the sunset. And you're awed by the colors and the smell and the wind, and you just feel like it's just such a great experience. And it is a great experience. And you are legitimately happy. And I'm standing here and I'm going through the same thing. I see the same sunset, smell the same sea, hear the waves, except not only am I seeing it this way, but I know that the creator of the entire universe has created all of this just for me so that I would have an elevated moment. So I am getting a connection to the infinite, the one who created everything. So therefore, my experience as a spiritual experience is on a completely different level than yours is. What do you think of that? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? My name is Rabbi Wyne. I'm one of the rabbis with Inspiring Jews. You can send me an email at rabbiyitzwine@gmail.com with a question or comment, or you can follow me or subscribe.